Alrighty, guys, we're going to dive right in here. I do want to welcome you all back to the Sleuth Intuition channel. I'm your host, Patrick Vallejos. We're broadcasting to the world live from Phoenix, Arizona. And today we are diving back into the Abby and Libby case, also known as the Delphi murders. We're going to go over the complete timeline the best that we can. We'll stop and focus in on certain areas. I've kind of pulled together two separate timelines. One I grabbed from the indiechannel.com. The other was from News Nation, and I just added a bunch of photos to it. And I also put together a few different exercises that we can do. And the one from the indiechannel.com, that really just focuses on everything that was going on in 2017. And the one from News Nation that I added the photographs to, that covers mainly all the court and the court proceedings and stuff like that. But I think this will help everybody. Going back and going over all this information again might help those of you understand what's going on. I have a pretty good understanding, but I know some of you have some fears and some concerns. Even from the beginning, we wondered what was going on with this Delphi case. How could it go unsolved for so long? We always wondered if there was police corruption. If we were dealing with a serial killer, and not to mention the numerous suspects that were brought up. And then come to find out, there are some strange inconsistencies, like with Dan Doolin, and the fact that their suspect actually did come forward early on in the case, and we really didn't know anything about that. But we're going to stop and we'll go over the information, and there'll be certain points that we'll kind of focus in on and provide more detail. So welcome in, Dana. Good to see you. Copper, how are you? She Warrior. Jibbo, what's up? Cindy. Zoe. Melissa Wildcard. Cindy, welcome in. How's it going, Zoe? She Warrior. Miss Dog Lover. Cheeks, what's up? Timmy. Jer, welcome. Patty. John Usher. What is GB? Is that Green Bay? I don't know what that is. Sorry. Thanks for the comment. Farmer, what's up? Hathers, good to see you. Sensei Robin B. Vertigo Brain, what up? Melissa. Got Jibbo in the building. Thank you, Robin. Robin says justice for Abby and Libby and the families and all of their friends who miss them dearly. Tom N., good to see you. I'm having a very good weekend. Was doing yard work today. I didn't get much sleep last night. I was binge watching a show called Mr. In Between. And then for whatever reason, I still woke up early and I had all this energy in the morning. So I took care of all the yard work in the front that I've been kind of hesitating on. I originally had the live stream scheduled for 2, but I mean, I just didn't have any gas in the tank. I needed a nap. So if you guys caught that, that's the reason why. Oh, from the UK. Shout out to the UK. Thanks, John. And we'll get going here in just a minute or two. We have a lot to cover, so I didn't want to waste any time here. Oh, yeah, The Tulsa King. I'm watching that too. Season 2 just came out. That's a good one. Good to see you, James. Let me share my screen with you guys. What's going on with that, Melissa? Tonight, 48. Discussing or disgusting. Sarah Ann Wood went missing here in New York like 30 years ago. I remember was a teenager when it happened. Well, I think it was Shane who brought this case to my attention. This is from Indiana too. Darlene Holsey. We're going to cover that on True Crime in the Morning. So that's a very interesting case there. I mean, needs a lot of attention. Just a lot of strange facts surrounding that case. Yep, the Aussie, Mr. In Between. It's really good. It had me hooked. And I hate Hulu. I hate all those commercials. It had me hooked. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty entertaining. So like I said, we're going to start with the timeline that was put together by the indiechannel.com. So if you guys want to go back there and take a look, that's how you can find it. They cover all of 2017. Like I said, when we come to certain parts of the timeline, we'll stop, we'll focus in, we'll add information, we'll correct information, we'll go to the chat and we'll see if we missed anything or if we skipped over any details. And hopefully this will help you guys understand what the hell is going on with this case. Miss Dog Lover, it's been a lovely sunny day here in London, England. Now heavy rain. Man, I could really use some rain. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. Everything's going good today. Just finished watching Anthony Joshua get knocked out. I don't know if you guys are into boxing or not, but that just happened. Oh, is that his name, Scott Ryan? Yeah, he's a good actor. He's got an interesting look to him. He's got those Gary Oldman eyes. Yeah, me too. It's really the only sport I'm into right now, that and golf. Not even really too much golf. So this timeline starts Monday, February 13th at 2:07 p.m. when the photos were taken. But I mean, for those of you who still believe that Keegan Kline and the whole Anthony Shots account played a big part in this, technically we could start about a week before that, 2 weeks before that, around February 2nd. That's around the time she was introduced to Anthony Shots, but as of right now, we don't have any solid proof that was connected, other than ISP taking Keegan Kline into custody, him basically confessing to the murders or playing a role in the crime. But other than that, I mean, there's been no charges. There's been no mention of him being the person who ratted out, quote unquote, snitched on Richard Allen, even though the day he was taken into ISP custody was the same day they started the Wabash River search. And 4 weeks into the search is when they found Richard Allen's name. and subsequently he was arrested. Hey, She Warrior, shout out to Indiana. I know we got a lot of people who subscribe to my channel from Indiana. Shout out to you guys. You guys get a bad rap, but I got love for you. Yep, UFC. Not so much UFC, but I do watch it from time to time. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan, but I do enjoy it. Yep. Oh yeah, Marvelous Marvin, Tommy Hearns. Yeah, some of the greats right there. I grew up on like Julio Cesar Chavez, Oscar De La Hoya, Mike Tyson. Those were the guys when I was a little kid that were doing their thing. That's good, farmer. That's good. It's not about how hard you hit; it's about how hard you get hit and keep coming. I always thought the river was connected. I remember on the day of Richard Allen's arrest thinking they must have results from the search around now. I mean, what a strange coincidence, right? Oh, and not to mention, now we know that they not only did ISP take Keegan Klein into custody, take him out of his, out of the jail and over to Grissom Air Force Base, but they also took him to Delphi. They brought him into the cemetery area and he kind of pointed out where he parked. And he stated, and I believe this is a direct quote, that his father came out of the woods from where the crime scene was saying, "We just had fun," looking like a mess. And that's just really strange that this whole time we thought Anthony Shots was, the tool that was used to lure Libby. We always believed that she was targeted and Anthony Shots was communicating with her. It's almost as if Abby didn't want to be on that bridge. She's taking her time. And you can notice in these photographs here that she's kind of falling behind. And I know she has her hands in her pockets because I'm sure it's a little bit cold. But you can obviously see that Libby is ahead of her. And when she's filming the bridge guy who was behind Abby, she's already off of the bridge. So that makes me think that she really didn't want to be there. She may have been just being a friend to Libby. But really, that stuff's all unfounded right now. There's no real solid proof that they were lured there or that Libby was the target and that she was trying to meet a boy on the other side. I mean, we just don't know that. I have a feeling that that information may come out, but it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense that they wouldn't mention Keegan Klein and his role in uncovering Richard Allen's name in the Orion system, the lost tip. But we've all been drawn to this case because there's just something about it. We're wondering, how can a case like this go unsolved for 6 years? We all expected some kind of a conspiracy, corruption, and there's still some folks out there who are pushing that narrative. A hatred for law enforcement. I'm definitely not a pro law enforcement channel, but I don't have any strange hatred, for them. What's up, Bobcat Philo? They're all fake states like America, US incorporated. Nothing is government. Absolutely nothing. Huh? You lost me, buddy. Yeah, welterweights. Yeah, that middleweight. Hitman Tommy Hearns. Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, definitely some of the greats right there. Oh, yeah, HBO, man. I was sad to see them give up their boxing program. Love that. Showtime was really good. I think they gave up their program as well. Welcome back in, Tamara. The cemetery is significant. I believe the key connection is the Anthony Shots account. I mean, how do you explain all of those weird coincidences? But then again, that could be the reason they overlooked Richard Allen to begin with, was this whole Keegan Kline thing. But they could be connected. I mean, how odd is that? But the more and more cases that we cover, the more strangeness we're exposed to. And that's why I don't like to put all my faith into law enforcement, because they're just humans. They're working a job and they make mistakes. You know, you can't just put blind faith into the system. It takes them, it takes everybody, us. We all need to work together for the victims and to try to figure out the truth. Because one thing about true crime, one thing that we learn is that evil people can definitely pull the wool over our eyes. We take a lot of things for granted and we assume a lot of things. Jibbo, did you watch the whole card sleuth? My mate was on Tyler Denny. He lost the European belt. Oh, really? No, I didn't. I woke up from my nap and tuned into the zone. There was like this weird long delay, and then the main event. What's up, Jari? You are just in time. We're just getting started. 10 years, more like 10 days. Yep. And the quote unquote experts, you know, you can't go around trusting these folks. What's up, Tamara? Brandon, good to see you. Welcome back. The British Blue Line Freemason dipshits. Bobcat's on a tangent. Tennis is fun. My wife loves to play tennis. Ruckus Rocks is in the building. Bring the ruckus. What's up, Sean? Killer wanted law enforcement to find the phone because he used Libby's phone to video BG, and everyone fell for it. Abby's pick is Snapchat, but video is not timestamped. Is that your conspiracy theory, Sean? I mean, or do you have something to back that up? Ruckus getting some love in the chat. Okay, so what do you guys make of these photos here? I don't know about you, but as a teenager, I would be all over that bridge. I don't even care if it would scare the hell out of me. We used to run across moving trains and jump off of them too. Like we would ride them to the lake. We would jump off into the tall grass. I mean, we kids are crazy. And we always had that little squeamish friend, you know? You'd have to kind of peer pressure them, but they still did it. Oh my God, this guy's starting to get on my nerves. What are you talking about, Bobcat? You're becoming a distraction. You know what happens to distractions around here? They go bye bye. I'm making a prediction now. Bobcat will not be around very long. Ruckus says you can't put blind faith into anything. You can't. You cannot. Except your wife, kids, or the Keebler elf. I don't trust that Keebler. I don't trust those Keebler elves. Always sneaking around in between the walls, burrowing into trees and shit. Plotting with those damn snap, crackle, and pops. It's a conspiracy. Negligent or incompetent? Or just over their head? What's up, Mar R? Good to see you. Tamara, no coincidences, not with this case. Well, I mean, we covered so many true crime cases over the past 3 years, not to mention the stuff that I just watched privately. There are absolutely coincidences. That's how folks get put in prison. Innocent people go to jail and get convicted for horrible crimes that they didn't commit because a series of really strange coincidences. There was even a crime that I was watching. I think it was on the first 48. I could be wrong, but this guy's brother actually committed the crime, and he just happened to be in the area, and they had partial DNA. And I think his brother even ended up like providing some information that was that helped convict him. And he looks just like his brother. So they have him on camera. They have his DNA, and he admitted to being in the area at the time. But come to find out, coincidentally, he had no clue about it, but his brother was in the area who actually committed the crime. Like, how crazy is that? Not to mention people being set up. You got dirty cops. You got, in some cases that we covered, you have family members who are actually the guilty parties. Maybe like your wife's brother, something like that, provides a statement to law enforcement that gets you locked up. Oh, too far. I mean, it's just heartbreaking to think moments after this photograph, one of the most brutal crimes that we've ever covered took place in that small town. I guess technically it's a city, right? And then you still have people who are, sticking up for the main suspect. I don't think innocent people should be going to prison, but they have a solid case against Richard Allen. So to go around sticking up for him is really strange, especially considering he might be the one responsible for taking Abby and Libby's lives. That could have been your kids. Could have been somebody that was part of your family. Okay, so at 2:07 p.m., Liberty German puts two photos that go out on Snapchat, and a friend of hers grabs them. She does a screen grab. I mean, you can literally see the timer right here burning down, the little Snapchat timer. Oh yeah, I used to love to climb trees. We used to play a lot of football. Get all the neighborhood kids together and then play some tackle football. Oh, that was fun. Every day. Basketball too. Electric burn. Yeah, these trains weren't electric. I don't know if I'd be messing with those kind of trains. We used to jump into corn silos. Oh, that's some dumb shit. The bridge picture is Snapchat, timestamp, and saying we are at the bridge. Abby's pic is proof Abby crossed the bridge. First time doing so, her classmate received it right away. Well, how do you know that the bridge guy photo isn't time stamped? You know, it's highly edited and cropped. So how do you know? Blind Faith, overrated band and concept. Right on both fronts. The good old 86,000 second timeout. Classic. Tamara says it still bothers me that the conversation officer didn't see a connection. That bothers the hell out of me. Especially before the live stream, and I was going through it yesterday, but going through the timeline, that's all that was stuck in the back of my mind is Dan Doolin and Richard Allen speaking with him. Really frustrating. What's up, Lulu? All right, let's keep it moving here. Okay, so later in the day, Monday, February the 13th, late afternoon, police and firefighters start searching for the girls. Sheriff Tobe Lesenby said crews began canvassing the area and tried pinging the girls' cell phones into the evening hours, but had no success in finding them. The sheriff said they believed the girls' phones were either dead or turned off. Well, now we know that there was a ping around 2 a.m. and it brought them back out there. Or they received a report around 2 a.m. That they had a location of a ping. So I don't know the specifics to that. I just know around 2 a.m. they received information about a ping that was actually near the south end of the bridge. And that's why you had Mike Patty out there at 3 a.m. and the fire department searching. You had Eric Williams and a few different news stations reporting right around 3 a.m. That's when Mike Patty and a group took some canoes and they were heading towards the city, away from the crime scene. Hey, what's up, Shane? Welcome in. Sean says prayer walk for the girls October 13th, Sunday at 1:30 p.m. My reservations at a hotel are made. Good for you, Sean. Going 586 miles. Seventh time going to Delphi. Good for you, Sean. Send us some photos, man. good for you to participate like that. Show your respect um, for Abby and Libby like that. That's huge. Proverbial emotional friend. Sure heard that one. So far, so good. Shane, how's your weekend going? Yeah, I'm an 80s kid. We woke up, got on our bikes, and got into about 3 or 4 fights by the time we got back. Maybe even hit in the head with a rock or two. It was wild. Oh, the good old days. Yeah, we've seen 8 pages of a 30 plus page PCA. Okay, and this is a Facebook post by Jamie Boyer. Says here she added 2 photos and is with Michaela Hartman and 3 others. Looks like she was in Lafayette at the time. Says, okay, everyone, I need help. Libby and a friend are missing. They went to walk the trails around High Bridge today, and we have had no contact for the last 4 hours. She's not answering her phone. If anyone knows anything, please call the Carroll County Police Department. So they're in full panic mode at that point. So that must be around 6 p.m. Annabelle, what's up? Not too late, fashionably late. Welcome in, Mustang. Let's go to Hathers. Yeah, I don't understand a lot of the sympathy for him. I mean, I would understand, like, hey, these are some strange circumstances. He might be an innocent man, but I mean, they're literally cheering for him. They're triggered over it. I just don't get it. No mention of Abby and Libby ever. No mention of, and whenever they mention the family, they're the same people that are blaming like Kelsey and creating these conspiracies about Mike Patty and pushing the Odinism stuff and stuff like that. Basically placating to the defense team. I don't get it. I mean, like I said, I always say if Richard Allen is the killer, right? And I explain that I believe that the case against him is strong, and he most likely is. If they can prove that in a court of law, I haven't seen the comparisons. But to sit there and just be like a cheerleader for somebody who may very well be a child killer, I mean, it's so baffling. It's more to me, it's more of a projection of who these people are. Very strange. But I mean, I would get it. I could get on board with it a little bit more if it was just like, hey, he might be guilty, but the things that I'm seeing, there's a lot that's pointing towards corruption and that he's the fall guy. But just the way that they have to make leaps and bounds, about the chain of custody with the bullet, and the bullet's not really good evidence, and the timeline this, and the girls were dumped thereafter later on. Somebody accessed the phone. They become experts on everything. Now they're cell phone experts, and they can prove that the phone was actually turned on by a human person. That human person must be the killer. And if that's the killer turning on the phone, can't be Richard Allen because he has an alibi for that time. Okay. I haven't heard anything about an alibi for the 12th, 13th, or the 14th. Okay, Tuesday, February 14th in the morning. And this photo is of Brian and Jesse. And they go walking their dog there almost every day. There's another dog walker that was there the day before, and I think they may have been there also on the 13th. Says here, after calling off the search around midnight, search teams resumed searching for Abby and Libby. Volunteers joined police officers and firefighters searching the area around Deer Creek. Tamara says Alan is definitely guilty, but who lured them to the bridge? Kagan's day out with law enforcement pulled an arrest. Oh, gosh. It's like my left side of my brain is fighting with my right side of my brain when it comes to the Anthony Shot stuff. You know, that intuition versus logic. Thank you, Miss Dog Lover. If Richard Allen is guilty, do you think he stalked the girls? It's a small town. I don't know. As of right now, the way where I stand on that is he didn't need to lure them there. I think that they could have been lured or convinced to be there by somebody that had nothing to do with Richard Allen. You know, there's just so many variables. Thank you for the super chat, Miss Dog Lover. Appreciate the support. Yeah, that conservation officer has some splaining to do. And I always want to give, them the benefit of the doubt, but the truth is they probably don't have an explanation. One thing I've learned about law enforcement and these investigators is they put a lot of confidence in their fellow investigators and the systems that they have in place. Because they have to, it's all about time management. You can't get bogged down on something. You can't waste time. So a lot of times you have to put your faith into the systems and the reports that your coworkers or your partners are putting forth. If they said, "Hey, I ran their alibi," I can't waste time and go and recheck the alibi. I'm assuming that they did their due diligence. We got a lot of work to do, so it's tough. But when you have 6 years, I think it's okay to go back and check alibis and verify alibis and things like that. Yeah, it sure is, Annabelle. It's a hard pill to swallow, especially when we go through this timeline, and it makes it even tougher. Especially when we see all the effort that was put forward, with the billboards and the sketches and the efforts that the family put forth. It makes that a lot harder, that pill a lot harder to swallow. Farmer says the word dead when refers to the cell phone always bugs me. In all murder cases at the presser, it makes me cringe when stated at those press events. Brandon says Doolin is the key to this case. Well, he was. He lost that key, apparently. CJK, good to see you. Lulu, 82. Shout out to the 80s babies. Pretty sure we're the best. Big up to Ronald Reagan. I'm going this time. I've never been there, even though I'm nearby. Had no idea it even existed until this case. Interesting. Enjoy your time. Let us know how it goes. What's up, Mark? Pitbull Mom, happy Saturday. Good to see you. All right, Tuesday, February 14th at 1:50 p.m. 2 bodies found along Deer Creek. See, this was put out in 2017. Now we know it was 12:15. But this must be when this little presser took place, and we'll watch it right now. Indiana State Police Kim Riley, Carroll County Sheriff Tobe Lesenby, and Delphi Police Chief Steve Mullins hold a joint press conference to announce 2 bodies were found while crews were searching for Libby and Abby. Those bodies were not identified as the girls, but search efforts were officially scaled back.
I'm not at. Basically, we're going to make this, it's going to be short and sweet. We don't have that much at this point in time.
You guys can hear that, right?
We've got, we have found 2 bodies. Is that the Sugar Creek?
Deer Creek.
Deer Creek, sorry. In Deer Creek, about a mile east of town.
Oops. And what's really strange about him saying Sugar Creek is he was handling 2 cases. There was actually another case that he was dealing with at Sugar Creek.
We are investigating this as a crime scene. We suspect foul play. We have not made positive identification of the 2 bodies, so we're not going to be releasing any information on them at this point in time. We've got the Indiana State Police is assisting the Carroll County Sheriff's Department and the Delphi City Police Department in the investigation here. We also have the FBI Crime Scene Investigation Group here out of Indianapolis.
Exactly, Jibbo.
And
we used to have like
one thing the
wars
family
with
asked us to do
kids from across the way.
to thank all the communities around Delphi and the people here in Delphi for assisting in attempting to locate these the 2 young children that were missing earlier. They just wanted to say thank you to those people, and thank you. They were just wanted to express their gratitude toward the hard work that was done in helping search for these children.
Has the search been called off for these 2 teenagers?
Not officially, because we have not positively identified the bodies at this point in time.
Do you have people still searching the woods and creeks and fields?
We still have, there's still people out looking.
What's up, Frank?
But it has been scaled back. Let me just put it that way.
Are the bodies of the 2 individuals discovered are those of young female children?
I'm not at liberty to give that information out as of this time.
Who found them?
I'm not going to say at this point in time.
Why do you believe that there was foul play?
Just the way the bodies were found. That's about all I can say at this point in time.
Okay, and we know a whole lot about that now, about the crime scene.
They in the water?
They were on the edge of the water, from what I understand. That's about the best I can tell you.
Any outside injuries?
I'm not going to make a comment on that at this time.
What time were they found?
That I'm not sure. 12:15.
The heck?
Curves back in there, so it's really hard to tell as the crow flies how far it is, but I'm going to guess about a half to 3/4 of a mile back there.
It wasn't that far from where the search started. You mentioned hours of searching, hundreds of people. So were they not in plain sight in that area? That
Exactly,
would have
Lulu.
taken a long time for you guys to find them?
We really don't want to comment on that at this point in time.
Is there any?
We don't really want to put out too much information at this point in time. Something I will do, if you follow me on Twitter, I'm going to probably put tweets out approximately every hour on updates. It may be as much as that I'm just going to say we have nothing new at this time, but I will try to do that for at least the next 4 to 6 hours.
How do you suspect, do you presume that these are the 2 people you were looking for?
I really can't comment on that at this point in time.
Were there any visible injuries or other signs of trauma to the bodies that were discovered?
We're not making any comment on that either. I know we're not giving you much. I understand that, but I mean, we're at the baby stages of this case. At this point in time, I cannot release really much more information. As soon as I can, I will be more than happy to put stuff out.
Who's the lead investigator?
Carroll County is actually the
Sheriff's
lead.
Office.
Is it fair to say the search has been drastically scaled back?
Correct. I will say that, yes.
Sheriff, are you classifying this as a homicide investigation at this stage?
It's a death investigation of unknown sources.
Chief, you've not said anything yet. This is your town. Talk about the impact this has had on the town.
It's had a terrible impact on our community. The people who participated in the search, people who have participated in all the efforts to try to find the victims in this case are very much appreciated. But I know it's had a terrible effect on our people, and we are grieved that this sort of thing would happen here in our community. I am pleased to see the community come out and help us the way that they have. I'm very pleased to be part of a community that has done everything they have done to help us out in this case.
Going forward, you're gonna do everything. Obviously, you can't find out who was involved in this. I know earlier when we talked, pretty much all the law enforcement's been holding back tears because these young girls and families and the whole search is really taking a toll on you. So are you gonna do everything, exhaust every option, just like you did in the search, to find out who was involved in this?
Yes.
Anything to say to the community?
Huge thank you.
Yes, thank you for all their help.
Should people in the community be afraid right now based upon what you've seen and know?
I think people are smart enough in our community to draw their own conclusions about.
Okay, what I think is going on right here is before this little presser took place, Tobe made a public statement saying that people shouldn't be afraid. And you can see this kind of awkward silence between
A death investigation of unknown
These two.
sources.
and that's what it's all about.
Chief, you've not said anything yet. This is your town. Talk about the impact this has had on the town.
It's had a terrible impact on our community. The people who participated in the search, people who have participated in all the efforts to try to find the victims in this case are very much appreciated. But I know it's had a terrible effect on our people, and we are grieved that this sort of thing would happen here in our community.
Used to be able to get cigarettes from
I am
the
Pleased
like a
to see the
restaurant out of a
community come out
machine. You
and
remember
help
that,
us
Farmer?
the way that they have. I'm very pleased to be part of a community that has done everything they have done to help us out in this case.
Going forward, you're gonna do everything. Obviously, you can't find out who was involved in this. I know earlier when we talked, pretty much all the law enforcement's been holding back tears because these young girls and families and the whole search is really taking a toll on you. So are you gonna do everything, exhaust every option, just like you did in the search, to find out who was involved in this?
Yes.
Sounds like a Lexus.
Anything to say to the community?
Huge thank you.
Yes, thank you for all their help.
Should people in the community be afraid right now
She's been around.
based upon what you've seen and know?
I think people are smart enough in our community to draw their own conclusions about what they should feel and shouldn't feel. Our people are very smart. We have a very good community, and they are very strong. And they are
Thanks,
able
Zoe.
to draw their own conclusions about this whole situation, I think, quite successfully. Thank you for the question.
Because, and the reason I ask is I hear the words foul play suspected. And people might be wondering if there's somebody running around this.
Welcome
community
in, Barbara.
preying on
Mary
people
C.
That they need to be afraid of.
I understand what you're saying.
Should they be?
I do. I
Thank you,
think people
Mustang.
are able to draw their own conclusions about this situation, and they are smart enough to figure out that what the situation warrants them to think. So that's all we have to say about that.
And you said you scaled back the search.
Yeah, I guess we can go to Tamara's comment here about Keegan Googled the gas station. We know that that was put out by the Murder Sheet podcast. So I'm still curious to where they received that information. But it is very strange that now that we know that Keegan has admitted to coming to Delphi and that him and his father, took part in this crime. Just thinking about how close the Marathon gas station is to Richard Allen's home. I mean, that's his gas station. He passes that gas station every day on his way to work. So maybe they were meeting up there for whatever reason. If that information is even legit. Welcome, Nana. Yeah, Jari, I tried to go and take a tour of some of these other channels that some of these Richard Allen cheerleaders, and you can't even say one word. They're just full on triggered. They don't accept any outside opinions. Anything that differs from their way of thinking is not allowed. So, I mean, I don't want to be around those kind of folks anyway. Felt like I was in. You guys ever read the book Lord of the Flies? Feels like that. All these crazy mofos triggered.
This time we do not believe.
I give about 2 minutes.
Some good behind the scenes right here. I don't think I've ever seen this.
Before we get started, I do have some information here for you. Just hand them out this side and go around.
Good to see you, Mary. There you go.
Oh, I needed one.
Oh, jeez.
I gave about 2 minutes. Don't litter. I don't want to have to arrest anybody. Okay.
Yep, that's right, Shane.
Basically, we have identified the bodies of the two females that were found out yesterday. The bodies have been positively identified as Abigail J. Williams, 13, of the Delphi area, and Liberty Rose Lynn German, 14, of the Delphi area. The two girls were reported missing on Monday, February 13th. The bodies were discovered about 12:15 on the 14th.
What's up,
in
Timmy?
the woods just east of town here by volunteers that helped in the search of the children after they were reported missing to the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. Family has been notified. This is considered a double homicide investigation. No further information will be released at this time. We are asking for anyone to come forward who has information that were either on the Delphi Historic Trail yet there on Monday, especially if they were near the Monon High Bridge, that they might have been seeing somebody out there. They may have taken pictures where somebody might be in that photograph. If they were out there doing that kind of stuff, we need that information. We would love to have pictures of that, just to clarify what we got going on out there. You can contact the Carroll County Sheriff's Department or the Delphi Police Department, both at the same number, 765-564-2413, or you can contact the Indiana State Police, who's assisting, at 765-567-2125. The families and all law enforcement would like to thank all those who volunteered their time, assisting and helping in the search for the two girls. Without their help, it may have taken longer to locate and find the young ladies. Is there any questions out there?
Is there a threat to anybody else in the community?
I'm sorry, what was
Is there
that?
a threat to anybody else in the community?
I'll let you answer that.
At this time, we do not believe so, sir.
Does that mean you have a person of interest in custody or a suspect?
We do not, sir.
Can you
It's a good
tell us
question. He says, well, why'd you answer that way? Do you have a
the
person
manner
of interest?
death that the autopsy uncovered?
No, we cannot do that at this time because of the investigation is still in its baby steps, so to speak, and we don't want to put that information out yet.
Can you describe for
What's
us
up, Growing Crazy?
the
Welcome
scope
in.
of the investigation, the resources, the people, what's going on with the investigation?
The Carroll County Sheriff's Department is the lead investigation. They've asked us to help. The
Yeah.
Delphi Police Department is assisting. We
We'll
have
talk
the
about that,
FBI,
Farmer.
what's called their ERT team, which is the evidence collection team that is here. And they're also providing other resources at this time. We have not put all of it together yet.
Can you experience
What's up,
that the two
Roxy?
of you have, the scope and size of this investigation? How does this investigation rank in all the others you have witnessed or participated in?
Well, both of us came on about the same time. We started in '86 with the Sheriff's Department. I started in '86 with the State Police. And this is one of the larger ones that I've been involved in myself. I'm not saying there hasn't been larger ones the department has done, but we are using resources from all the way from Lowell, Fort Wayne, and the southern part of the state's police, state troopers to help in solving this crime.
How confident are you that you're going to track down whoever committed this crime?
We will stay on the job until it is done.
When was the last homicide in Carroll County?
Sheriff, could you step to the microphone?
Sure. Honestly, can't recall, Ron, but we've obviously had them, so can't recall off the top of my head.
If you can't say how the girls were killed, can you say whether they were killed at the spot they were found or at a different location?
We're not, at this point in time, I don't even want to mention that either.
Can you talk about who was able to find the bodies? I know we had heard some different things, maybe some of the search members, or was it law enforcement that was able to find the bodies?
It was originally the search members. We did have police officers were involved in the search, but it originally was volunteers that found the bodies. Excuse me.
I saw a lot of police and fire personnel at that scene today. Can you tell us what they were doing there exactly?
They're still collecting evidence at the scene. The FBI's team is still out there, plus our Indiana State Police crime scene
And
investigators
this is on the 15th.
are also at the scene. And that's
So
probably will
he
go on
says
the
they're
rest
still
of the day.
collecting evidence on the 15th.
Sheriff, a little bit earlier, you answered the question. You're pretty far away from the microphone here.
Yes.
Should people in this community be concerned about someone running around targeting kids?
My response is no. I feel safe for this community. Whether or not folks should be alert and watchful, that's a true statement, a fair statement. But we always encourage that folks always do that.
Do you think this is a random act, or
We're not going to comment
It's a good
on that
book.
at this time.
Whether or not people should be concerned, is it the case that there
She
is a
warrior.
killer on the loose somewhere right now? Or killers?
They seem perplexed by his response. Like,
I'd
what do you
have to say
mean?
yes.
There's a double
I mean,
murder.
We have nobody in custody at this time. So as far as I'm concerned, yes, there is somebody out there.
Tobe is
that did this
questionable.
horrendous crime, and we're going to track him down.
Based on the evidence that you have, do you have any idea if you're looking for one or multiple people?
I'm not going to comment.
What's
at
up,
this time on
Boston
that.
Christian? Welcome in.
We're getting so many questions from viewers and readers. Can you explain the reasons for not stating the cause and manner of death? I know it's to protect the investigation, but can you talk about how?
Oh, that's a good point, Shane. At this very moment, Richard Allen is
Sure.
meeting with Dan Doolin.
Obviously, as you well know, that some of that information could be key in a
Crazy.
prosecution. And so I feel like that.
Yeah, that's very strange to think about that. So I believe it was February 15th. I don't know exactly what time of day it was, but while they're giving this press conference, the same day, they're meeting with their number one suspect. All right, Wednesday, February 15th, later on in the day, around 6:50 p.m., state police release a picture of a man police want to speak with. Indiana State Police released a photo of a man they believed was on the Delphi Historic Trail around the time that Abby Williams and Liberty German were there. ISP wants to speak with the man or anyone parked in the lot near the bridge about what they may have saw. So they actually released 2 photos. This one you have what appears to be a hand in the pocket or an elbow. I mean, you can just tell this is a short dude. This close-up, I think, was a little misleading. There's no real context, you can't really get a good view on the bridge, as a point of reference. But here you can tell that you're looking at a shorter person. I mean, he's little. Look how big the bridge looks. I mean, that's obvious. That's one thing that drew me to this case, because I'm a short guy. I'm a short, stocky dude. And it takes one to know one. I mean, I don't got little feet like this guy, but I'm definitely short, chicken legs, all shoulders and chest. And that's one thing that drew me to it. Not only the young girls and me having my own girls, but just looking at him and knowing what I was looking at. So when they finally arrested Richard Allen, I was like, there he is. That's the guy. That's Shorty right there. I mean, I don't understand how people can argue that. We're looking at a little dude. What's up, Glam Van? My mom would write a permission slip for me to buy her cigs. I remember we would steal cigarettes from certain restaurants and pool halls because they had these machines. You could put in, I don't know, it's like $3 of quarters, and you just pull this lever, and it would drop a pack of cigarettes down. You didn't have to give an ID or nothing. Jibble says, how people can't see Rick. Well, I think it's this one right here. This weird, like you have a face here. You can kind of see his face right here. You see it's like a side view. It's like a profile. Then you have a face here, and a face here. So you're getting the full motion as he's turning his head. So you got to focus in on these small areas right here. Here. Like right here, you can almost see like he's wearing a beanie. His cheeks are kind of puffy. He might be spitting something out. But yeah, this photo I think was very misleading. They did like a close-up and he looks like a larger male. But this one, I mean, you can see it clear as day. Miss Doglover says that's a fanny pack on his hip. I think it's a holster. I think it's a leather holster. Maybe it's for his knife. Could be a sheath. Maybe even for a box cutter. I've seen people carry box cutters in a leather holster. But it's most likely a holster for his SIG. And I wonder, I was looking for a holster on the evidence list that was taken from his home, and I didn't see that. So I wonder if people that knew him said, yeah, I remember him having a leather holster, and then now he doesn't have it. So I don't remember seeing that on the evidence list. They don't, Shane. They've allowed their mind to be convinced, and then they fit everything to, they kind of formulate everything around it. Trying to get that square peg into the round hole. All you got to do is kind of shave the corners off a little bit, round it off. Then you can kind of get it in there. But most people who think that that's Ron Logan, they've thought it was, there was people who were big on the whole GP thing. Remember, there was an obsession about that. There was that whole Brian Chadwell debacle, that debauchery. And then, of course, you had Ron Logan running around dressed like the bridge guy, wearing the blue coat, the jeans. Some of these folks are just very easily convinced. Okay, so February 17th, 2 days after they interviewed Richard Allen, hundreds of investigators joined the search. Hundreds of tips have come in, and dozens of extra law enforcement have been called to assist in the investigation, but still no arrests. So they've already interviewed their suspect, and they're going through all of these tips. This must be where they lost the tip. This is the fuck up fort. Who is to blame? Okay. Saturday, February 8th, community starts hosting fundraisers. Several Delphi businesses began hosting fundraisers in their neighborhood, with proceeds benefiting the families of the teens. Yeah, Barbara. I mean, it's not like 100% like you can see him, right? But I mean, there's never been anybody that was closer. And the whole Ron Logan thing is just silly. Yeah. I mean, just there was only a handful of people who matching the suspect description. Why wasn't he on that list? At the bare minimum, he should have been searched. His home should have been searched. But then again, you have to have probable cause. I think it would be hard to have probable cause when you have somebody saying, hey, I didn't see the girls. I was there, but I didn't have anything to do with this murder. And I came forward. So, I don't know. I think Richard Allen was just really cocky at that point. Yeah, that's true, Shane. Same with the audio. I'm real curious if this goes to trial, how that will play out with the video and the audio. Okay. Saturday, February 18th. This is 5 days after the girls were found murdered. Community says goodbye to Abby and Libby. They launch these lanterns. That's cool. It's amazing. Just curious, like, where's Richard Allen in all of this while all this is going on? Is he watching this on the news? Is he in that crowd? Good to see you, Stephanie. Sandollar says the police didn't talk to Richard Allen. Well, Dan Doolin is police. He's a law enforcement officer. He's definitely a cop. Yeah, they do. And I think that plays a big part into why they support Richard Allen so much. Because if Richard Allen's not the guy, then they can go back to being right. Stephanie for sure. And then Keegan and Tony blinkers were on. Blinders, you mean? I don't know, Shane. I've heard some rumors about that. That if you go and look at the sign-in sheet for maybe Abby, one of the funerals. I don't know about Richard Allen, but I think there was a rumor going around that they saw Kathy's signature. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, Barbara. I agree with that. Okay. Sunday, February 19th. State police. Man in photo is now prime suspect. Remember, early on, they just wanted to talk to him. Now they're calling him a suspect. Now, they just talked to him 4 days ago. Right? If that's Richard Allen, they've already spoken with him. How did that slip through the cracks? Fucking crazy. Thank you, Boston. Rick Allen Whiteman ain't losing a tip based on name. When do criminals give correct info? Yeah, another strategic move probably by Richard Allen. Giving his address as Whiteman Drive and then also giving his name as Whiteman. That way later on they can say, well, why did you give us a fake name? I didn't, I told you my address is Whiteman. You're the one that made the mistake. Just saying, as a possibility, It's a very proactive approach. Countermeasures, that's what I call them. We're dealing with a disorganized killer who feels the need to inject himself to glean information and control the narrative. He fits the bill, the profile. Hey, Copper, just joining or just watching or lurking, please press the thumbs up. You guys heard it. Do it. Do it. What's up, David Botkins? I don't think Dan Doolin was sent there to question him. Yeah, he wasn't sent there. What happened was Richard Allen he contacted the tip line, explained what he's seen, and then he met with Dan Doolin at a grocery store up the street from Richard Allen's home. Probably just take a statement, and if they need to follow up, they would, but I think they would only have a detective talk to him. He's a cop, DNR. Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. He's not a homicide detective. He's just helping out. But yeah, very strange for him to not put two and two together. Like, this guy just told you he was there at the exact moments that the girls disappeared. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's bringing him up. Like, why aren't you saying something? Very strange. Makes me think Dan Doolin has a drug problem or something. He's all stoned and he's taking an interview. Like, what the hell? How did that happen? Just gets me more frustrated. Okay, so we're still in 2017. Now we're Wednesday, February 22. I think that was the day of the first presser. Investigators release the audio clip recorded on Libby's cell phone. Indiana State Police and the FBI held a press conference releasing audio from the day they were killed. Police say the audio came from a video recording on Liberty's phone. Excuse me. From Libby's cell phone of a man who was following them.
Downhill. 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 Downhill.
I think I have a more cleaned up version of that.
Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill. Guys. Downhill.
Thank you, Mustang. Carter even said they didn't talk to the suspect yet in 2018. When did he say that? He's probably watching in the crowd. Ian Huntley killed two 10-year-old girls in the UK in 2002 and was giving TV interviews. Yeah. I mean, I can't explain why they do it, but like I've said time and time again, the same thing that causes these weirdos to kill is the same thing that gets them caught. It's like a compulsion. They're going over it in their head over and over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, I just don't understand what the hell is going on. Hey, Truffles, what's up? Why did Dan Doolin ask for ID when speaking to Richard Allen? That would have been the usual procedure for taking a statement. I mean, at the very least, call him back in for an official interview. Like, we need you to come into the station and do an official interview. I just don't understand how one of the only people who matches the description of the bridge guy, and he's like one of 5 men that it could have possibly even been. His name wasn't brought up. It's mind-boggling. Thank you, Barbara. Stop that right now. Happy Saturday to you. Welcome in. Pick of Kathy with Becky's sister. Oh, yeah, I have that. I think that's her older sister. Yeah, I have that photograph. Sean says, talk to Mr. Steve at True Crime Web. Great channel. He and Miss Steve were moving furniture to Florida. Then he will be on his way to help with a couple more cold cases. He's a great guy. Yep. It's a good way for him to be spending his time and his expertise. Shout out to True Crime Web. Glam Van. Gotten at the grocery store where? It's a little mom and pop grocery store right up the street from Richard Allen. Can't remember the name. It's something like Hartman's or something like White. I can't remember. Did any witness ever say short? Yes. It's in the PCA. Shorter. Yep. It is mentioned. Okay, February 23rd, FBI takes over the tip line to quickly process thousands of tips. Once again, frustrating knowing that the guy that they're quote unquote torturing, right, in solitary confinement for his own good for a year and a half or so, came forward on, I think it was the 15th. But yet the FBI has to take over the tip line to quickly process thousands of tips. when tip number 4 was the golden tip. So crazy. They should have made him come to the sheriff's office when he called the tip line. Yeah, I agree. But I feel like something was going on. They had information on Anthony's shots, and I think they thought they were onto something. Or they were, and they still are, but they didn't realize that it was leading them further and further away from another suspect. The blinders. Yep. And I think they even use the word shorter. No, it's in the PCA if you want to go take a look. I think so too, David. I think I would have caught it too. Way behind on the video, but great to hear the first presser. Never heard it before. You mean the one where Dan Doolin's standing on the stage? Just don't think we have time for that. We're already at an hour and a half. That's a good question, Tamara. I doubt that, but man, he'd be facing some criminal charges. Hey, welcome in, Heather. Absolutely. My number one question is the whole case is the DD tip. It's called the tip narrative scandal. And hopefully they'll have an answer for that, Maybe they can explain it later on. But right now, it's just frustrating to even think about that. It's like every time, like especially when I read stuff like this. Thursday, February 23rd, FBI puts up billboards across the country. The FBI announced that it is utilizing approximately 6,000 electronic billboards in 46 states to solicit information on the case. It's like, why are you doing all of that, but you're not following up with Richard Allen? I think that's going to be a big part of the trial if they make it there. That's what the defense should be focusing in on, is that kind of shit. It's perplexing. Yeah, there are a lot of crazies. It's covering the Nenagar case, and somebody from across the country was reaching out to her family saying that he's 100% sure that he saw her. And we're talking like 2,000 miles away. And she was found a mile away from her vehicle eventually. Yeah, so you have false sightings and all kinds of weird shit. I don't know what motivates people. Sometimes I feel like they just want to give hope to the family. Like they don't want them to give up. So they make up some bullshit thinking they're doing good, I just don't get it. I call it the human factor. It's the biggest variable in every case. Each individual is motivated by their own weirdness. Heather Swenson, we do not know what DD did with the tip. Who filed it, where it was filed, and who cleared that tip. Yeah, we do. We know what their story is about it. Apparently, he provided that tip to an employee of the FBI who misfiled it. The FBI refutes that narrative. They said they follow protocol. It's like that Spider-Man meme where they're pointing at each other. I don't know, Tamara. It's the most frustrating part of this whole entire case for me. All right, Friday, February 24th, orange lights for Abby and Libby. Community members light up Delphi by installing orange lights in their porch lights as a tribute to the girls. I remember that. I thought that was pretty cool. Command Center, February 25th, Command Center moves to a larger building. Investigators moved to a larger headquarters. State police said the move was made to accommodate the city of Delphi, who has to use their building to conduct everyday business. Yeah, that's crazy, Shane. He's got some explaining to do. Yeah, they were either had their blinders on over Ron Logan or Keegan Kline and his dad. Thank you, Copper. Yeah, shout out to everybody who's been donating to the Cash App. You guys are extremely generous. And if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be able to do what we're doing here. I just wouldn't have the time. You guys are buying me the time. And I appreciate it because this is what I really like to do. We're going to keep growing and keep learning, and we'll keep getting better. And we'll keep creating this platform for victims and their family members and to bring awareness to these cases. Also, to create a fair space for you guys, you know. Hasn't been easy. Thank you, Mustang. Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, Wednesday, March 1st. Reward for information leading to an arrest jumps to above $200,000. Former Indianapolis Colts punter Pat McAfee and team owner Jim Irsay donated $97,000 to the reward fund to find the person who killed Abigail Williams and Libby German. The donation pushed the reward up to $200,000. Yep. If you guys could, go ahead and hit that like button. Go share the video real quick on your favorite social media site. Let's get some more people in here. Okay, Wednesday, March 1st. Libby and Abby's family visit the command center. Families of Liberty German and Abigail Williams tour the Delphi investigation headquarters. Abby Williams' grandparents leave a message of encouragement for police on the board at the new Delphi headquarters. Message reads, "Where are the police when you need them? I have uttered these words whenever a speeding or reckless driver nearly runs me or someone else off the road. Where are the police when you need them? ? They are here in Delphi with us. We pray for your protection and we are forever grateful for your service. Diane and Eric, Abby's grandparents." Thanks, Barbara. Some people find it unnerving. Sean says, "Why did Doug Carter say at the first presser, 'This is about power to you'?" Well, that was not the first presser. That was the one in 2019. That was a New Direction presser. I think they were pretty sure they were dealing with a psychopath. And that's what it's all about for them, control. They do things like this to gain in their sick, twisted mind, they're able to gain control. And maybe Richard Allen did in some way. If you look at the 2018 photos of him on Kathy's Facebook, he's not all skinny. He's got some muscle tone. He's out hiking. You know what I mean? He's got some weight to him. So in a sick way, maybe he did gain some power back, 2016 and the early 2017 was a rough time for Richard Allen. I call them stressors. That could have been what was going on. Could have been some kind of weird snowball effect. And from what we've learned, he suffered from depression and things like that. So could have been a really hard time for him. Wednesday, March 8th, Delphi Trail Safety Task Force formed. Trail Safety Task Force formed to help improve the safety along the Delphi historic trails where Libby and Abby were hiking when they first went missing. Thank you, Farmer. So what was the shack about at the presser then? What was the meaning? I don't know. I think he was making a point about forgiveness. And think about it. They said you have an ounce of conscience left. And now you have Richard Allen who, quote unquote, has found God, right? So they were right on the money. Bringing up that, for whatever reason, they believed that's who they were talking to. The movie The Shack, it's a very religious movie. It's like a Christian movie. It's about forgiveness. It's basically about somebody who loses their daughter and now they're at war with God. They feel like God has declared war on them. So therefore, they're going to point their hatred back at God. But ultimately, it's about forgiveness. So for them to bring up The Shack and to see what's going on with Richard Allen in prison right now or in jail, with him, finding God and searching for forgiveness, like, man, they were really onto something. Ruckus says Rick's wife was the alpha in their relationship. Could be. He just seems like somebody who is just, happy to be taken care of. Yeah, and it could be Mustang. Because she did mention it in a conversation. Twice, actually. Before the presser and then during a private interview with Doug, they talk about the book again. Welcome back, Ruckus. Welcome back. Thursday, March 9th, Libby's grandfather speaks for the first time. Let's watch part of this.
We'd like to start by request of the family with a word of prayer from Pastor Todd Ladd of the Delphi United Methodist Church. Pastor?
Pastor Todd, this was the guy who broke the news to Anna Williams that the girls were found and positively identified.
Mr. Dan, if you would, join me in a word of prayer. Holy God, our loving Father, we thank you for your love and your mercy. And today I pray for Liberty's family. God, hold them in the comforting arms of your Spirit. Draw them near to you in the protection of your love as they're vulnerable today in sharing their hearts about Libby and about Abby. Lord, they're sharing their hearts about their love for her. God, in your wise ways, guide their words so they may express their deeply held desires of their hearts that reflect their love for Libby and Abby. God, I pray that their response would demonstrate the love of Jesus Christ that has sustained them in the midst of the deepest and darkest valley. God, I thank you for all these individuals who have come today to tell the story that needs to be told so that more tips may process and we can begin to find justice. Lord, we pray for justice here on this earth, but Lord, we also ultimately hope
Yeah, I have it, Farmer.
for justice on the other side. So that all of this, we put our trust in you. Bless them, bless their words, and
Yeah.
allow us to tell the story in ways that give hope. We ask this in the name of Christ.
Yeah, I
our
believe,
Savior.
I agree with
Amen.
that, Ruckus.
Carroll County
They were
Sheriff
spot on,
Job
too.
Lesenby.
Because of time, we're not going to be able to watch most of these. Might have to make this a part 2. See, April 25th. The case's lead investigator speaks exclusively with Call 6 Investigates.
So as we gather together today for our work that we've been assigned to, let's pray. Father, thank you for this day you've given us.
Well, you know, one thing we do every morning is we come in and we have our chaplain here, our chaplains, and we have a moment where he'll bring a word or a prayer, certainly a prayer every morning.
There's no doubt that we've been faced with a ton of obstacles and we maneuver through those. We've been faced with numerous barriers and we just have to bust through them and keep going because we're not going to stop. Today's the day. Today's the day we're going to get closer to the end. Today's the day we're going to get closer to getting justice for Abby and Libby.
We just ask that people just follow that instinct, that gut. Even if you just have a suspicion, just call it in.
If something just wasn't right, if that person started abusing drugs, if their sleep patterns have changed, when you put into a broader context of the timing and the location of that individual may be pertinent.
All right, April 27th. Delphi Daughters, The Untold Story of Abby and Libby. This is a good video. We've played it a few times. Welcome in, get a look. A look-see. July 17th, composite sketch of suspect released. Investigators with the Indiana State Police released a composite sketch Monday of the suspect believed to be involved in the murders of Abby Williams and Liberty German back in February. The composite sketch was created after the state police received new information. Sources tell Call 6 Investigates. So sometime in March, I believe, is when they finally spoke with Sarah Carbaugh. Wednesday, August the 26th. Family unveils plans for the memorial complex. Family members of Liberty German and Abigail Williams unveiled the location and details of the new sports complex that will be built in their memory and annual Delphi Bacon Festival on Saturday. Remember, we had a content creator who was threatening to blow it up? What a fucking idiot. See, Friday, September 29th, investigators travel to Colorado to interview a person of interest. You guys remember Daniel Nations? Nations was arrested on Monday in Colorado Springs after police matched his vehicle and description to a man who had been threatening hikers with a hatchet on the same trail where a man was shot and killed just 2 weeks earlier. I think that was on the Moab. That's a whole true crime story right there. We've covered it. Maybe we'll come back to that. There was a guy on a bike. He was killed with a .22 rifle. I think he was actually found with a rifle in the back of his truck as well. Families talk on Dr. Phil on the Dr. Phil show. Tips jump up 500% December 13th. So they're coming up to the end of the year. Close some of these out. Okay, we'll jump to this timeline now. We'll kind of skip 2017. We pretty much covered that. And we'll go right here to the new direction presser. And we might finish on this. I'm going to have to do a part 2 on this. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe we'll just finish with this part here. A new sketch of a suspect was released by police along with a video and extended audio. Police clarified that the second image was not the same man as the previous sketch. See, that created plausible deniability to anybody who was thinking about coming forward to turn in Richard Allen. Because if they thought it was Richard Allen, they're connecting him with the older looking sketch. Like, okay, that does look like Richard Allen. If they're telling us that he's no longer a suspect, and we're looking for this younger guy who kind of looks like Richard Allen, but he's obviously a lot younger. So I think we'll do a little experiment here. Okay. We'll finish with this. Betsy Blair's first description of the man she saw on the bridge was memorialized in sketch number 2, illustrated on February 17th, 2017. So this is fresh. 3 days after the girls were found, but not released to the public until April 22nd of 2019, following Superintendent Doug Carter's press conference. On February 17th, 2017, Betsy Blair met with state police sketch artist Taylor D. Bryant and provided a description of the man she observed from 50 feet away on the Monon High Bridge. The same man that Leggett claimed in his affidavit was the killer. Betsy Blair told the sketch artist that the man Betsy Blair, observed. Okay, focus in on this part, guys, because we're going to do a little experiment. Was a white male, age 20, had brown curly hair and medium build. Okay. So using, I would say, these descriptions, tell me what you see here, guys. We're going to leave it up for 1 full minute. So let me know. What do you think? Is it a white male? The age? Color of hair? Short, tall? Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Welcome in, Kate B. Well, there's a video of what appears to be a bird that may be smashed into the window or something. I can't tell. But Richard Allen's wearing the blue jacket around Thanksgiving time, and he's got what looks to be a large knife in his hand. All right, guys. Tell me what you see. We're getting ready to take this off the screen. I'll leave it up for another 20 seconds. Young, old, short, tall, white, Mexican, black, Asian. What do you see? This is what 50 feet would look like. So you're seeing this man. He's standing 50 feet from you. Now give me the description. Let's have it. Did I skip over anybody? CJK says, hair or hat, not tall, mask on face. Okay, here's our first description of the gentleman I just put up on the screen. Maybe it's a woman. You decide. White male, gray suit, brown hair, black shoes, hands in pockets, mid-30s. Stephanie says, dress clothes. Can I get my glasses, please? Nope. You already left and you're already back on the trail. Tamara says, middle-aged guy, average height, dark clothing. So what's average height, like 5'8", 5'9"? I think it varies from country to country, but we'll say average height's 5'8". Mary C says, a short man with dark hair and a suit, dark complexion, maybe 30 years old. Okay, so we got two who see a man in his mid-30s. What's up, Boston? John Belushi. So Farmer says the guy looked like John Belushi. All right, Tamara says, yeah, average is 5'8". No worries, Miss Dog Lover. To me, at first look at that distance, it's a mid-30s. Exec tan, brown hair, dark suit. Okay, so most of you say in the 30s. What about the rest of you? You want me to put it back up on the screen? Here, we'll put it back up here for another 15 seconds. Describe this man. He's 50 feet from you. Is he old, young, tall, short, white, black? What do you see? Hey, Jill. Shout out to the replay crew. We'll see you in the comment section. Thanks for dropping a line. I appreciate that. And what's up, Mark? If anything, it shows how unreliable a description from 50 feet away could potentially be. I agree. And I think that's why they didn't use it. I don't think it had anything to do with the car, reporting a sharp edge, older model vehicle. I think it had everything to do with the 50 feet. But before I reveal who this guy is, his real age, everything about him, I want you guys to participate. Tell me what you see. Danny DeVito. That dude's basically a midget. Or a dwarf, sorry. Katie Lang. David says, Richard standing on the sidelines watching some real men play a little basketball. Oh, that's funny. Stephanie says, gray hair. You see gray hair? Gray hair in a suit? All right. How tall? What's the age? Right now, there seems to be a consensus of about 30 years old. White male, around 30s. You can't tell age from 50 feet unless it's gray hair involved. Yeah, and even then I went to school with a guy who was bald and had gray hair. when I went to high school with a guy like that. Barbara says short white man around mid-age. So what's middle age, like 40? Or are you going with the mid-30s? Fonzie. Stop that right now, says, all I see is a dark suit with light shirt, short hair, hands in the pocket. Can you guess the age at all? Stephanie says 5'6", around 50. All right, that's very different than what we've been getting. That's a little bit shorter than average height. That's my height, and I definitely consider myself short. Miss Dog Lover could be any age. Well, what do you remember? Get a Look-See says 5'7", mid to late 40s. So we're getting 30s, average height, 30s to 40s. Hey, what's up, Brad? From Outside the Grid. Go check that channel out. No idea. Stop that right. This says no. All right. Nana says white, no hat. Are you sure? 30s. So most of you are on the same page with the age. Says 30. Dark jacket and pants, light colored shirt. So the consensus so far is average height, anywhere between 5'8" and in his 30s, mid 30s. Vertically challenged. I was one of those guys that didn't even realize he was short for the longest time. Didn't even know it. Heather says, I can barely see it. I have nothing to offer except the white guy in dark clothing. So you say he's white? Are you sure? Yeah, it's true. 18 to 40. 60 is the new middle age. Shit, I'd love to live to be 60. Vertigo says Asian. All right, you guys ready for this? You guys ready for the big reveal? Or we have more guesses? You could tell me he's 20, or you could tell me he's 50. I couldn't put up an argument either way. All I can say with certainty is dark hair. What about white, black, brown? What was his skin tone? Mary C says maybe 5'4", 5'6". Ken Gale. Is it Jared? Just hearing that name makes my skin crawl. Shane says pale, pasty. Okay, let's go ahead and throw it up on the screen. Bam. There he is. 53-year-old Mark Wahlberg. Short as shit. I think he's 5'7". Let me double check. They have him listed as 5'9", but I know that's bullshit. So we'll say average height. Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And he's 53 years old in this photo here. 53. Yeah, Donnie, his older brother. So some of you were pretty close. Whoever said average height, you guys were right. Whoever said more middle-aged was a little closer. Got the hair color right. He's definitely a white man. Black, wearing a dark gray, blackish suit. Yeah, his movies are okay. His music was shit. Yeah, I was looking for something that was going to be a little bit tougher. Somebody that kind of looks younger, but is really closer to the age of Richard Allen. From a distance, you know, he definitely would appear to be younger. All right, guys. I think that's going to do it. I don't know if we're going to have a part 2. I think I really wanted to focus in mainly on the earlier stuff and at least get to the new sketch so that we could do this little experiment. So I think we accomplished what I was hoping for. And I want to give another big shout out to Miss Dog Lover and Zoe Kitty for sponsoring today's live stream. All my members, all my hardworking mods, and everybody who continues to donate to the Cash App. Thank you. You guys make it possible. And if you're part of the replay crew, you know exactly what to do. Leave me a comment. We'll get back to you. And if you need to send me a message for whatever reason, sleuthintuition@gmail.com. And if you guys want to go check out the website, it is, email is sleuthintuition@gmail.com, and the website is sleuthintuition.com. Ooh, thank you, Miss Dog Lover. I was in a taxi in London, and the driver said Mark was crazy. Kept shouting out the window, and I had to calm him down, and he had to calm him down. Got your Mark Wahlberg stories? Good night, Barbara. Hold on. Young for your age. All right, guys, take care. I got some business to attend to. And I'll see you guys again real soon. Thank you guys again. Have a great night. Peace.